Other issues has been uneven. She argued against responding to early stories on Whitewater. Unanswered questions gave the story life.
The acute political antennae that we've seen in many other areas and we saw during the campaign just malfunctioned over this from the beginning.
Some inside the administration complained she has stubbornly stood by friends whose actions caused problems, like embattled White House counsel Bernard Nussbaum. But those close to the Clintons say the couple usually acts in unison.
The idea that somehow any decision made within the White House or by White House political advisors that goes wrong then winds up back at Hillary Clinton's lap seems to me grossly disproportionate.
Mrs. Clinton's defenders say she is one of the president's greatest assets. But as the Whitewater controversy grows, she could also become a liability. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Washington. A political surprise tonight from Capitol Hill.
This is ABC News Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Chris Wallace.
Ever since the Whitewater story first broke, most people in Washington, even most Republicans, have resisted comparing it to Watergate. Tonight, that became more difficult. Around 7 p.m. this evening, the FBI, acting on behalf of Special Counsel Robert Fisk, served subpoenas on 6 top White House officials, seeking their testimony before a grand jury. The 6 are White House counsel Bernard Nussbaum, Deputy Chief of Staff Harold Ickes, Senior Advisor Bruce Lindsay, Communications Director Mark Guerin, Mrs. Clinton's Chief of Staff Maggie Williams, and Mrs. Clinton's Press Secretary Lisa Caputo. The subpoena stemmed from briefings that Treasury Department officials have given these staffers about the federal investigation into Whitewater. In addition, the special counsel subpoenaed all documents related to the matter. And tonight, White House lawyers issued an extraordinary memo to the staff, halting the removal of all burn bags, as well as the removal of wastebasket trash containers. The memo concludes the destruction of documents after receipt of this subpoena may constitute obstruction of justice. We are told that President Clinton was notified of the subpoenas shortly before they were served this evening. We talked with Special Counsel Fisk on the phone tonight. He said all grand jury proceedings are confidential, and he would have no further comment. ABC's Britt Hume is standing by at the White House now. And Britt, how big a bombshell was all this over there?
Well, I don't think that it was quite the bombshell at 7 o'clock that it might have been, because there had been some earlier notice here that it was going to come. However, with all the suspense around here today, having been devoted really to the question of whether Mr. Nussbaum would survive, it was quite a jolt to those of us who were waiting for that news to hear instead this, with the question of Mr. Nussbaum's departure apparently having been put off for, until tomorrow, although it is quite clear tonight here that he is leaving.
The whole point, Britt, of course, of appointing the special counsel was to try to get Whitewater on the back burner. But now here we have 6 of the most important people in the White House under subpoena. Isn't that necessarily going to be an enormous distraction?
I think for the moment it is, Chris, but I think we need to keep a couple things in mind. It seems that what the special counsel has done with these subpoenas is to suggest that he takes a rather dim view of these briefings by Treasury and possibly other officials of members of the White House, briefings in which they were provided information that the average person would not have been about, in at least one instance, what are called criminal referrals, documents that are supposed to be information that's supposed to be confidential. But it's not at all clear that anything criminal happened here. It's what the counsel seems to have done is to indicate he doesn't, if anybody is thinking of doing anything funny with the evidence in this case, they had best not do so. The subpoena for these people to testify communicates that message, and this sweeping subpoena for documentary materials does as well. And the White House, it should be said, has moved to comply with the subpoena with the order that you just mentioned, in which even trash is being held onto here.
You know, Whitewater, up till now, has generally involved Bill Clinton's actions as governor. Doesn't this bring it into the question of his actions as president with these meetings between White House officials and Treasury Department officials?
Well, it certainly brings into question actions of people operating under him. It's certainly the president, of course, has not been identified as having participated in any of these meetings. But these were people, after all, acting on his behalf, and they included, it should be noted, one of them was Harold Ickes, who was brought here in large measure to provide the kind of political sense and judgment and experience here in Washington that was thought perhaps lacking in some of the other people, able though they might have been. So it isn't becoming to have this happen, but it's not at all clear that this means that the Whitewater investigation has now in some final sense reached the White House. What appears to have happened is that on an evidentiary question, The special counsel has signaled that no monkey shines, but it may go no farther than that.
Britt Hume at the White House, thanks very much. Congressman Jim Leach of Iowa is the ranking Republican on the House Banking Committee, and he joins us now from our Chicago station, WLS-TV. Congressman Leach, your reaction to the special counsel's actions tonight?
Well, this is a very profound step, and I think it's been underestimated. What we have in America is a strong tradition that this is a government of laws and not men. Processes are our most important product. Quite clearly, government regulations have been violated. The special counsel, as a very astute attorney and very careful attorney, has reached a very obvious conclusion.
Your reaction, there has been a call by some Republicans about the need for a congressional investigation. Given the fact that the special counsel has moved so quickly in this area, do you still feel Congress should get into this?
Well, you know, sometimes Congress has a different purpose than special counsels. One deals with criminal activity, the other deals with what might be considered legislative endeavors, public oversight, public disclosure. This particular episode strikes me as largely in the realm of the special counsel, particularly because you have executive privilege that might conceivably be exercisable. But that doesn't mean that Congress in its oversight function doesn't have a very valid inquiry to make.
There are reports tonight that Bernard Nussbaum, the White House counsel, is going to resign. We have about 30 seconds left in this segment. Is that good news?
Oh, I think resignations are always sad news, and they're sad for the families of those involved. They're sad for the reasons that they're exhibited. There's no joy anywhere in America about this.
Congressman Leach, thank you very much. We appreciate it.